Jesus Christ's missing gospel discovered in Egypt reveals an amazing story of his childhood. This is by Callum Horn, Express UK. Missing Bible Gospel discovered in Egypt, and it helps give insight into the early years of Jesus Christ through the amazing stories according to ethnologist Richard Dawkins. The Gospel of Thomas is a non-canonical or apocrypha Christian doctrine discovered near Nag Hammadi in Egypt more than half a decade ago. Scholars speculate that the works, which date to 340 AD, were buried in response to a letter from Bishop Athanasius. He was a bishop of Alexandria, Egypt, declaring a strict canon of Christian scripture. Unlike the canonical Gospels, it's not a narrative account of the life of Jesus. Instead, it consists of stories attributed to Jesus, sometimes standalone, sometimes embedded in short dialogues or parables. Richard Dawkins is a notorious atheist, by the way, and he revealed during his new book, Outgrowing God, why the find was monumental for both arguments for and against science. He said it's no surprise that they didn't want the infancy gospel of Thomas. By the way, this picture here on the left has an image of Jesus Christ with the Sacred Heart, and the gospel on the right is not the Nag Hammadi gospel, because it says in Greek, kata Ioannin apokryphon, which means that it's St. John Apocrypha. It's not St. Thomas. So they just put in an ancient-looking text with Greek writing there. So, as usual, nobody knows, though, who wrote this ancient text. And contrary to rumor, it was not Doubting Thomas, the disciple who wanted proof before he believed in Christ's resurrection. The gospel included amazing stories about Christ's childhood, a period in his life that almost completely is missing from official canon. And by the accounts, Jesus was a mischievous child who was not shy of showing off his magic powers, and at the age of 5, playing by a stream, he took mud from the stream, fashioned it into 12 live sparrows. Dawkins, who was the University of Oxford professor for public understanding of science from 1995 to 2008, explained why he had doubts over the text. Well, that's why it's an apocrypha. That's why it's not part of the Bible, because it's unbelievable. Now, he said the sparrow is made of more than 100 billion cells, nerve cells, muscle cells, liver cells, blood cells, bone cells, and hundreds more. Every one of those is a mature machine of mind-blowing complexity. Everyone knows of a sparrow's 2,000 feathers is a marvel of delicate architecture. Nobody knew those details in Jesus' time. Even so, you'd think the grown-ups would have been pretty impressed. But Dawkins explained why he thought the text was not included in the New Testament. He says, but no, Joseph gave higher priority to scolding Jesus because he did it on the Sabbath day, when Jewish law forbids you to do any work. Some modern Jews don't even flick a light switch on the Sabbath. Now, they have time switch to do that for them, and there are even some apartment buildings there on the Sabbath. The lifts, that is the elevators, stop on every floor, so you don't have to push the button. Jesus' response to being scolded, by the way, was to clap his hands and say, "Be gone," and the sparrows flew off chirping. So, all right, that's, what can I tell you? That's why it's not in the New Testament. Now, in the Bible, the miracles of Jesus are supernatural deeds that include faith healing, of course we know, exorcism, resurrections, control over nature, and of course, forgiveness of sins. And I would put my comment in here, the best of all is faith, inspiring faith in people. Now, in the Gospel of Mark, Matthew, Luke, Jesus refuses to give a miraculous sign to prove his authority. But in the Gospel of John, Jesus is said to have performed 7 miracles, from changing water to wine to raising Lazarus from the dead. And for many Christians, these are seen as actual events. Others, including many liberal Christians, consider the stories to be figurative. I would say that's really a shame, because of the fact that these miracles have been repeated by various saints throughout the ages in these past 2,000 years. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.